Hello and welcome to the Climbing Daily Friday Gear Show. Today we're going to be doing a comparison test between the Scarpa Boostic and the Booster. This video is sponsored by Scarpa. They gave me the shoes I'm going to be using today, but they have no control over my opinions. So why are we doing this test comparison? Well, the Boostic is Scarpa's new sport climbing and multi-pitch shoe. It's got a full-length sole, XS edge rubber, and it should be very precise and fantastic for standing on small edges. Whereas the Booster, well, that's softer, it's got a split midsole and XS Grip 2 rubber, so more of a bouldering shoe. But my colleague Teresa put up a video last week where she used the Booster as a sport climbing shoe. And look, I totally disagree with her. I think the Boostic is a sport climbing shoe and the Booster, well, that's clearly a bouldering shoe. So to put this to the test, behind me there's a climb. I'm going to climb it twice using each shoe, and hopefully my hypothesis is going to be proven correct, that the Boostic is the sport climbing shoe and the Booster is a bouldering shoe, and Teresa is wrong. Before we get started, here's some tech specs of the Boostic. The Booster is a supportive shoe with a full-length sole and 4mm of Vibram's XS Edge rubber. To help with that support, it has a DTS active rand connection from the heel to forefoot. Scarpa describe it as a face climbing shoe, which excels at continuous micro-edging. With a multi-panel microfiber upper and special big toe patch for a more moulded fit, it should be a comfortable yet performance shoe. So I've got the Boostics on my feet and I'll talk about sizing later on in the show. So we're at Guyon, which is a crag right in the centre of Chamonix, and behind me there's a 7C, which pretty much goes up the middle. Now I've picked this route because it has tiny little footholds, which should suit the Boostic's XS Edge rubber because of how minute they are. It's a powerful route, it's kind of bouldery, and again that's good. Because it's short and bouldery, it will also favour the Booster, so I'm not making it an unfair test on either shoe. Okay, enough chat, let's send this thing. I've got some beef with this route. I first tried it maybe 2 years ago, and there's this horrible, like, sort of V-shaped finger slot that if you lose your feet, you just slice your finger open. I decided never to climb it again. See how it goes today. Should be the crux bit done. This is a really fiddly move. Little toothpick pocket. Oh. Okay. Those footholds are so small. Okay, T. Right, Boostic done, climb ticked. Now I've got to change shoes and do it again with a bouldering shoe, the Booster. Wish me luck. Okay. So the Booster is a shoe that I reviewed way back in the day now, and it is a fantastic bouldering shoe. So obviously putting it to the test on a sport route, well, it's going to be interesting. Some characteristics of the shoe: excess grip to rubber, which means it's slightly softer, slightly better at smearing, and should sort of wrap around those little nubbins a little bit more. That split sole means it's more flexible, which again, overhanging routes, fantastic. This thing, maybe not so much. But the thing I remember most about the Booster is the boost, the power that you get from that shoe. So I'm quite excited to see if it's going to fire me up that route. So I actually stopped using the Booster for sport climbing when I was testing it, because it just wasn't supportive enough for me. I just didn't feel like it gave me anything on those small edges. And immediately as I pull on, I can feel the softness of the shoe. But it is a little powerhouse, so I don't think it would be too bad. Wow. Oh. Oh my gosh, I so nearly dropped that. Hey. That was mega interesting. It felt completely different. It was almost like a different climb. This needs discussing, so I'll see you guys down on the ground. Okay. Right, I'm down from the wall, so what do I think about the shoes? Well, first of all, with that climb, I said 7C is probably a bit easier unless you religiously follow the crack, but it is a fantastic test for this comparison. So starting off with the Boostic, because of that 4mm of excess edge, the DTS system that's built into it, it's brilliant at edging, and it is so precise. There's something reassuringly old school about this shoe. I've been climbing in lots of split sole shoes like this, and yeah, that's great for indoor bouldering and certain types of climb, but it's nice to return to that full sole, but with all the modern twists that Scarpa put into it. There's so much going on under the surface, pads for your toes and different materials, so it's old school with that modern power in it. It was very interesting during that climb, the differences between the two models. The Boostic is undoubtedly better on the small footholds. It allows me to stand on tiny little things and feel very confident when I'm clipping, knowing that my foot is going to remain in one place. It is stiff, you can't feel the rock as well as a softer shoe, but sometimes you don't need that, you don't want that. And especially on multi-pitches, which I've yet to use this shoe for, that could become a real asset. When I put on the Booster, you probably looked at that film and thought, well, Matt's cruising it because I made the moves look easier. But in reality, it was actually more difficult. I was just more used to the moves. It's a lot softer, and therefore those small edges just don't feel quite as large. The plus side of that is that you can be slightly less precise. You can sort of wad your foot near one of those crimps, and because of the softer XS Grip 2 rubber, it means the rubber will sort of wrap around it and take away from any mistakes that you might make. Where I did find it was fantastic was that move where I have to twist my foot into the crack. Because of the softness of that shoe, I could turn that horizontal crack into a really good foothold, and I found way more purchase with it that made the move out right onto the little finger catch far more static and therefore easier. But I did miss that precision edging, especially on the top half of the climb. So do I think that the Booster is actually a secret sport climbing shoe? No, sorry Teresa, I do not agree with you, but that's mainly because of my weight. I'm a bit heavier, and for me that XS grip rubber that's on these, it just doesn't work as well. It's not as supportive. However, if I was picking an overhanging route or something with a lot of smears in it, then I would look to the Booster instead of the Boostic, but the Boostic is my favourite sport climbing shoe at the moment. Now with the size of Scarpa shoes, it's quite interesting. It kind of works or it doesn't for a lot of people. The last is sort of aimed towards people with more narrower feet perhaps, and that toe box can be quite narrow down at the bottom. Your feet and toes almost feel scrunched up. It works for me, it might not work for you, so make sure you try them on. And sizing wise, I'm a UK 9 street shoe. These are a UK 8.5. That means that my toes are very crimped up, but in hindsight, if I had to do it again and I was looking for a true performance sport climbing shoe, I think I might go down half a size more and suffer the pain. But if I wanted to climb more multi-pitches, then about half a size down, UK 8.5, that works for me. Okay guys, that's it. Let me know what you think down below. And if you want to pick up either the Boostic or the Booster, or just check out Scarpa models, there's a link down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.